Welcome to the WISE Wisconsin Spring Series. My name is Michelle Gobert and I am a positive youth development educator in Forest County. Today I'll be presenting on a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that is family history. As a former public librarian, I developed a love of family history research while assisting my library patrons discover their roots. When I took my position in Extension a few years ago, I was a bit lost as how I could connect my passion for family history to my work with youth and families in our county. As it turns out, working for Extension has allowed me to uncover another whole side to family history, developing the sense of belonging and connection that comes from digging into your past and growing your family tree. Why do people study their family tree? There are many reasons, of course, but most of us will admit that it begins with a sense of curiosity about who came before us and what their lives were like. The fact of the matter is that family tree research is rated as the #2 hobby in the United States, with gardening being #1. This trend, and the growth of the family history industry overall, has generated its own set of research as to why people study their family tree and what benefits they receive by doing so. The research tells us that while individuals are conducting family tree research, they also may be searching for a sense of belonging, a sense of connection, a sense of identity, and the understanding of where their family fits into a time and place. Research in the area of positive youth development and overall health and well-being also tells us that having the strong sense of belonging to time and place and a sense of connection to each other are actually protective factors that allow youth and adults to thrive and live healthy lives. Whether you are a beginning family tree researcher or have some experience, starting at the beginning with yourself is the secret to success. While it might feel more exciting to jump into learning about your Civil War ancestor or your immigrant ancestor, starting with yourself, your parents, and your siblings if you have them, builds a strong family tree base. Here's why. That Civil War ancestor might not be related after all. As incredible as this sounds, not every family story is true. There might be a bit of truth in that family legend, but it's still a legend and may not be 100% accurate. Another reason to start with yourself is to begin setting the stage for your future family history stories. Starting with yourself allows you to be center stage in your family history story and may lead to a better understanding of your identity and what traits you may have inherited from your ancestors. Besides, if you don't collect and preserve your own family relationship information, who will? So to start off, record what you know. This includes your birth dates, parent information, your siblings, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents. Go back as far as you can. A simple notebook or a Word document on your computer is perfect for this. The second thing is to gather documents you already have. For the information you recorded, gather as much documentation or proof as you can. Documents like birth certificates, marriage certificates, newspaper clippings, family photos, funeral announcements. These documents begin to look different once you begin to examine them with a researcher's eye. The third is to ask your fan club for help. Everyone has a fan club in the genealogy world. A fan club stands for family, associates, and neighbors. Reaching out to your fan club may mean calling Uncle Stan's granddaughter and finding out that Uncle Stan really wasn't an uncle, he was a step-uncle. Or calling your childhood neighbor and finding out that his uncle married your aunt. At this point, it's important to think beyond dates and documents. Ask your fan club to share stories and memories with you. Be sure to contact the oldest living generation in your family tree as well. It's important to capture their priceless stories before they are lost. After you've spent some time gathering what you know and listening to stories and memories of your family, it's time to then start adding names and dates to your family tree. My suggestion is to start with a blank generation chart. The Mid-Continent Public Library is my go-to place for high-quality, downloadable, easy-to-use family forms. You can find them at the URL on the slide or by Googling Midwest Genealogy Center. Take the information that you've gathered in your notebook or Word document and begin filling in the generational chart. Doing so will allow you to easily find the gaps. For instance, you may know your grandparents' anniversary, but have no idea where they were married. Don't be surprised if they went out of state. Many couples did. Here in northern Wisconsin, many couples headed to Michigan, and in my own family tree, many couples left Illinois and headed for Indiana. Another form that many researchers find beneficial is the Family Unit form, also available for download from the Midwest Genealogy Center. This form allows us a more complete view of each family within a generational chart. It allows you to document the siblings of your direct ancestors. This information is especially important when trying to break down genealogy brick walls. It is often a hint or a clue found in a sibling's obituary or a great aunt's death certificate that is going to lead you back another generation. And now that we've identified the holes and empty branches in our tree, we can begin to research. Many people at this point in their journey head to the big names in genealogy research, Ancestry.com or MyHeritage.com. Both of these sites are excellent and worth the money if you choose. However, there are free options that are just as reliable and allow access to actual documents and records. Many people are presently surprised to find out that Ancestry.com offers an Ancestry Library Edition to the majority of public libraries in the state of Wisconsin. Pre-pandemic, Ancestry Library Edition was free, but only from inside a public library building. However, at-home access was granted early on during the pandemic and is still available free of charge with a Wisconsin Public Library card. Contact your local public library for access. And while Ancestry.com is the most visible family history platform due to its marketing, the entirely free family search platform available at www.familysearch.org is a must-use for all researchers. A free account is required at Family Search, but once registered, users have direct access to hundreds of databases, including census records, vital records, and immigration records. Family Search is a product of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and while it was originally intended to be utilized by church members, it has expanded to allow users from across the world learn and connect with their heritage and other family members. Their Family Search Wiki is by far the best tool for learning about the places our ancestors lived. Uncovering your ancestor's story is also uncovering the place they called home. Oftentimes, learning about your ancestor's home, whether that was a small town in northern Wisconsin, a bungalow in a Chicago suburb, or a small village in Ireland, is going to lead you to a greater understanding of the day-to-day events that shaped their lives. There's often a very thin line between conducting family history research and conducting local history research. Local history research ties your family to a place. Learning all that you can about your ancestors' hometown is essential in learning their story. The best place to find stories of your ancestors' hometown is through a local historical society or museum. Local historical societies range from very small organizations run completely by volunteers to large government-funded entities. Start researching your ancestors' hometown at the county level. They'll be able to tell you if a town or village has their own society, and if so, what type of materials they may have to research. Our local historical society here in Forest County is completely run by volunteers, and it offers research access to original school records, court records, photographs, yearbooks, and a museum filled with local memorabilia and artifacts. Volunteering at a local historical society is a great way to become involved in local history. Even if you don't live in your ancestral hometown, volunteering at a local historical society will allow you to gain skills related to historical research, digitizing photos, and offer connection to other people interested in the same pursuits. Part of your research in finding your stories should also include newspaper research. Years ago, newspaper research was done using microfilm, either at the public library or state archives. However, recent advancement in online technology has allowed many state libraries and public libraries to offer their newspaper collections online. There are also fee-based newspaper sites owned by Ancestry.com and other genealogy companies. My suggestion is, of course, to always try locating the free sites first. But sometimes newspaper research is so important that a 1-month subscription to a fee-based product is necessary. The best place to start when looking for newspaper articles about your ancestor and/or their hometown is their hometown public library. Your local public librarian or the local public library website is the best place to look for local newspaper coverage. Many public libraries will either offer online access to newspapers or will let you know what state resources exist for newspaper research. Here in Forest County, the Crandon Public Library offers online access to 65 years of digitized newspapers. It's a goldmine of small-town history. If your local newspaper is not yet digitized and available online, don't despair. The state of Wisconsin offers free online access to newspapers.com with a public library card. You can access this database at Badger Link, Wisconsin's online library. The link to this resource is highlighted on my slide. You will need to log in to Badger Link with your Wisconsin Public Library card, but this free resource is absolutely essential to digging up newspaper stories on your ancestors. Connecting your ancestor and your family stories to a place builds a sense of belonging, and connecting your ancestors to a time in history allows us to feel connected to something much larger than ourselves. Developing a timeline of our family can help with this. Building a timeline does take a bit of work. You may need to dig out the encyclopedia set or visit Wikipedia online to revisit your American history lessons. Begin by drawing a line on a sheet of paper or within a computer program. Add your ancestor's date of birth at the beginning and begin to add his life events to the timeline, including census records and birth, marriage, and death. Add to your timeline national, state, and local events. Building a timeline is a great way to visualize your ancestors' life and add context to their story. A great introduction to our next subject, sharing stories. Now that we have started our research and hopefully uncovered some great stories, we need to think about how we share these stories. One of the most popular and most intimidating ways to share your story is by writing them down. The process of writing our family history stories down is intimidating for many reasons. We may think our stories aren't very interesting, but as a researcher, I beg to differ. I never knew my father's parents. They both passed away when my dad was fairly young. And yet I would give anything to have some of their family stories or tales of their daily lives as children written down. You also need to think about your audience. Don't think about your audience as a book publisher. Think about your children or your grandchildren as your audience. This may help you get your stories down on paper. No one says your stories need to be written like a book. Instead, write the stories in a letter or a quick note and include it in a birthday card. My grandmother, my mother's mother, gave me 3 index cards that listed her parents' and her grandparents' names with their birth and death dates. These index cards are now framed and sit on my desk and remind me that this was her way of helping me uncover our family stories. Another great way to share family stories is simply telling our stories. Again, most of us don't think our stories are exciting enough to share, but they are. Granted, I do work with youth, and I know that sometimes it's difficult to get them to put their phones down and put their video games away. My suggestion is to start young. Elementary age students are sponges. They love to hear stories, use their imagination. Tie your family story to something that impacts them and you will get them hooked. Is there a name that's been passed down generation to generation? Tell them about it. Or do they share a family trait like red hair or being left-handed? There are stories that are easy to tell and may spark an interest in family history. It is also important to recognize that some of the stories can be difficult to tell. It may be difficult to explain that great-grandpa never graduated from high school, but explaining that the reason he didn't graduate was that him and his friends went off to war at age 18 is going to be a story that they remember. Learning these stories help build empathy and resiliency in our children. There are so many ways to celebrate your family history. Learning about your ancestors is the very first step in uncovering your unique heritage. The search for your family history need not be all about finding dates in old records. Although this is really fun, it can also be celebrating the family you've uncovered. Recently, I installed Family Search's app on my phone and connected my research to it. Now I get notifications from my family tree. A few weeks ago, I was pleasantly surprised when my phone went off in a meeting that it was actually a reminder from my family tree that it was my grandmother's 103rd birthday. It brought a smile to my face and certainly reminded me to think of her. Piecing together your family tree is more than just a hobby or a pastime. It's creating connection across generations. Thank you very much for attending today's session and watching this video. I've shared my email on the slide and welcome any comments or questions related to family history research, local history research, or sharing our stories. I'm happy to connect you to local and state resources to move your family history research forward. Here are some of the suggested resources recommended during the live session of this video. The Wisconsin Historical Society, Recollection Wisconsin has some great resources for learning how to digitize your photos and family memorabilia. The U.S. National Archives for military records. Findagrave.com is a website that is free to use and has all kinds of wonderful family tree links on the cemetery research. Your County Veteran Service Office for military information and or discharge papers. And then on this slide, I'm sharing comments from the live session that may motivate you to share your family stories. Again, thank you for your interest, and please let me know if I can be of any help. Thank you.